So today we ended up getting our Season 5 outro cutscene among our updates for Call of Duty. And as a big story nerd, I'm actually pretty excited here for this and what it means for the implications for Season 6. But we also learned a little bit about the coming content as well. Some confirmations that we previously had suspected, but now it seemingly is in play entirely. So today we're going to break down the components that we learned about and also talk a little bit about stories. So for that, I'm not sure how this video is going to do, but if you enjoy it, do me a favor, drop a like down below. Let's aim for 1,000 likes on this video. You guys have been crushing that lately, so thank you so much for that. But if you enjoy it, drop a like, but also let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to Season 6? Are you looking forward to Mason returning? Are you looking forward to the culmination of the Cold War story and that saga within Warzone? Whatever the case may be, feel free to drop your thoughts. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're getting closer to Season 6 and a lot of other cool content coming on the horizon. So if you guys are interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. That said, let's jump right into it. So today was an update day. Our standard Thursday updates. Warzone got a small bit of an update, including some changes to Iron Trials and a few weapon tuning adjustments, but it's nothing that is really too crazy. And outside of that, we end up seeing our things like just our playlist updates. And if you haven't noticed, I've kind of really stopped focusing on those because the last few months, the weekly updates are basically just that, playlist updates. Not a whole ton of substance there, but what I found particularly interesting was before that update went out, Treyarch actually dropped the Season 5 outro cinematic, just about 2 weeks ahead of that Season 6 tentative launch date for the first week of October. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next week we actually have our first teasers of Season 6 officially, but this gave us just enough insight for what we can expect to see narratively as well as content-wise. So if you haven't seen that already, check it out.
We've got a serious problem. Salah said that the satellite's data recorder was destroyed on re-entry.
So what? I've read the report.
Forensics disagree. Soot patterns were consistent with it surviving to impact.
Adler made damn sure he was first there.
Perseus were on site. Could they have taken it?
Negative. Bodies were clean.
After what happened at Echelon. We have to assume he's compromised.
Fuck.
Adler's been off-grid working on something in Verdansk. We have no idea what he's been doing. We'll have to pull him in. Go find Mason. He knows what has to be done.
So a couple of things. Number one, we got a bit of a story recap, which is definitely nice for those that don't follow a ton, but we'll get more into that in a second. Number two, notice the car's license plate, all for SHG. Nice little nod to the passing of the developmental torch. A fun little Easter egg here at this one. 3, we have a full confirmation that Adler is compromised. We kind of saw that developing over the last couple of seasons with the cutscenes and the storyline playing out behind the sort of front-facing content and gameplay. And number 4, our 2 pointers for content that we see here with this are 1, Mason's coming into play, and 2, Verdansk's story seems to be wrapping up fully as well, especially with our nod to those red crates that have popped up since Season 5. So, content-wise, Mason we already kind of talked about a bit recently, but it's all but explicitly confirmed at this point. We've seen this sort of happen through a bunch of different outro cinematics before. Season 2's outro cutscene pointed to the changeover of Verdansk in Season 3. Season 3's outro pointed towards the satellites blocking Perseus's transmissions, which led to the groundfall event, and as well, Wraith mentioned a team being in Africa, which led to Collateral. Season 4's outro then heard Wraith's message to Kitsune, saying that they'll be going to Teufelsberg, Germany, which is where Echelon is located, and that duffel bag is directly from Season 3's intro cutscene with the stolen Dragovich protocol tapes that the original satellite facility worked by Dragovich and taken down by Hudson and Weaver in the original Black Ops, which also led to the map of Summit. That's where that was from. And now the Season 5 outro cutscene points us to our new operator and changes once again in Verdansk. Narratively, I do love what's going on with this. This is the culmination of all of it, and if you take a look back, there are a ton of subtle hints here that have been planted around each of these cutscenes. I mean, I went back and I watched all these cutscenes again, and it was cool to see how everything kind of connected before we even knew what was going to happen. Like Season 3's cutscene before we got the new Warzone map, again, Wraith took those Dragovich tapes, which we explicitly see in Season 5's intro. That duffel bag is the exact same one again as that outro for Season 4. The Nova 6 lead from Season 1's intro was tied then further into the misdirection that we learn about at the end of Season 2's outro, and again, all these subtle hints kind of coming at a later point throughout the storyline. One that I loved personally was that we saw the inclusion of even a small detail like the brainwashed bundle, which has those cool cosmetics revolving around the numbers, but who's that operator it's for? Adler. pointing towards him being turned and brainwashed. Now, moving on though, I'm incredibly curious to see what happens here with these shipping containers in Verdansk, which are a clear focal point coming out of the sort of intel for Season 6 in this cutscene. But from the introduction of them in Season 5, we had no real idea what they were, other than some narrative clues that we got saying that it was drawing a lot of power, as evidenced by what we saw with the sort of hum of the generators and then fuel reserves with lines leading towards them as well. But in this cutscene, the one image of the crates that flashes for a split second looks to have these crates opened up, and perhaps I'm missing something here, but it looks like there's a few rooms here sort of made into a makeshift HQ or something like that, walled off by each of these shipping container walls, but one utilizing a Cold War era console that we've seen in some sort of technical areas of the map beforehand, but one also looks like it has a drill going deeper into the ground, which is certainly interesting. And it's possible, I don't want to say this is confirmed or anything like that, but it is possible that this could tie into something we discussed a little bit a few days ago in regards to this potentially being something setting up the launch event for Warzone's new map, that Into the Pacific event coming likely at Season 1's launch for Call of Duty Vanguard. We see Season 6, that's going to go starting next month, and then it's rumored that the reloaded update for Season 6 is the day before the launch of Vanguard, which is still incredibly strange to me, but that would then lead perfectly into what we see then for a new map launch event, which we have build up always going up to these larger events. But those launch event details end up talking about going underneath the earth, underground in Verdansk, to find postcards from the Pacific. So that could be something where we end up seeing maybe some underground mine shafts, those bunkers come into play that we've seen before, sure, but also it could be underground in sort of a drill shaft leading to another area, even if it's just for like 1 or 2 rooms you can mantle in and out of. Kind of like how we saw those missile silos in the present day Verdansk. They really only had outside of that missile silo 1 or 2 different rooms for each of them. So it doesn't even have to be that big. You can just go in there and collect those teasers. But it's possible that leads up to then at that point. But we talked a lot about all these other things coming beforehand, and within the next week we'll likely see a lot of that. Weaponry, currently rumored to be a rifle, LMG, lever action shoddy, and battle axe, which truthfully would have been cool to see, I think, when Knight was introduced, because that's what he uses in the Season 3 intro cutscene. Maps, there's rumored to be either launch or radiation from Black Ops. It's rumored we have another event like the Haunting of Verdansk, right now titled as the All Hallows Eve event, and all that kind of stuff. I'm expecting things to kick off next week sometime, so I'm looking forward to it. But truth be told, I'm also very much so looking forward to the narrative and how things wrap up here at this, and possibly even more than some of the content we have up on deck. Cold War was an interesting challenge where it needed to fit into the Black Ops universe while not initially being a Black Ops game. You gotta think and remember that this was Raven's project from the get-go, but then Treyarch got called in to finish it up and kind of make it whole. So I'd imagine that minus the character names and likelinesses, the basic bones of the campaign were utilized from the very beginning, but then morphed to fit the bill of Black Ops with characters and all. So it was kind of a tall task to fit something in without retconning anything, essentially making a new puzzle piece out of a window in time, which conveniently wasn't too touched on in the Black Ops universe. So adding, but not subtracting. And then with Russel Adler as the main character, for him to be turning now at this point, that's going to be interesting because he's never mentioned in, of course, Black Ops 2, 3, or 4. So does this mean that Mason is tasked with wiping him out completely, or just kind of casually walking him back to the point where it's a non-story in the future of the Black Ops universe? As a story nerd, I'm incredibly excited to see how this all wraps up, but that's where we're going to wrap this video up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the Season 5 outro cutscene, and what do you think it means for Season 6? Love to get your thoughts and feedback down below, but hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard, Warzone, Cold War, anything related to COD, we got you covered here on the channel. And if you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to chat with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike a conversation, ask me a question, whatever the case may be, that link's down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.